Tonight on BremertonBasketball.com, the Bremerton Knights return to action after COVID-19 restrictions to take on the Klahowya Eagles. The Knights look to continue their fast start, while the Eagles try to get back to their winning ways. Tonight is the 2-0 Knights and the 1-6 Eagles. On the BremertonBasketball.com Game of the Week, it's going to be a battle, and the action starts now.
On Thursday of the third week of the 2021 season, the Klahowya Eagles traveled to Bremerton for their annual game against the Knights. In the COVID-19 Amalgamated Olympic League, the WIAA 1A Eagles were not faring well against the bigger 2 and 3A schools in the league. Their only win, 7 games into the season, was against the Chimacum Cowboys, also a 1A school. And on Tuesday, they had hosted the defending 2A state champion North Kitsap Vikings, a game Klahowya lost 92-43. Since 2006, the Eagles and the Knights have taken the floor 22 times against each other, with Bremerton winning 20 of those contests, including the last 10. For Bremerton head coach Maya Davis, this was the 7th time one of his teams would compete against Klahowya. While for Coach Brian Temke, an Olympic high grad, this was the 5th time, and there was hope it would be the first victory. Because the Knights were only 2 games into their season and were still searching for their identity. Second, Bremerton had to push the pause button after a positive COVID-19 test within the program shut down all activity, so the players were not in game shape. And a 3-point basket by senior Keith Jackman in the waning seconds of the game stole a victory away from the Eagles last season, so this had to be their year. Sophomore Caleb Washington led Bremerton that night with a team-high 15 points, which included 3 3-point baskets, 2 down the stretch. For the third consecutive game, Coach Davis called upon his 5 veteran guards to get everything started. Junior point guard Rupe Wilson, who was averaging 10.5 rebounds and 10 assists through the first 2 contests. Junior scoring guard D'Angelo Moore, who led the group with 19.5 points and 4.5 steals. Senior power guard Amir Patton, who was also averaging double-digit points at 13.5 a game. Senior shooting guard Caleb Washington, who led the group in long-range baskets with 5 3-pointers. And junior inside guard Kanye Taylor, who was pushing the quintet's bubble, averaging 19.5 and 13 rebounds per outing. As anticipated, the Knights were out of sync to start the game. Moore put the first points on the scoreboard from the free throw line over 2 minutes into the contest. The smattering of Bremerton family members in the gym had to wait another 2 minutes for the first points from the floor, a Wilson 3 from the far corner. Then Taylor joined the fun with a driving layup that started from the 3-point line on the opposite side of the key. Then Wilson got Patton in the scorebook with a full-court fast break assist. And then scored the Knights' final field goal of the period, converting Moore's breakaway steal alley-oop assist. By the end of the first quarter, it was clearly evident that this year's Bremerton-Klahowya contest would not be a repeat of last year's back-and-forth affair. Not because the Knights were playing well, but because the Eagles were having trouble handling Bremerton's defensive speed. In the first 8 minutes of play, Klahowya had already committed 7 turnovers, almost 1 every minute. To start the second quarter, Coach Davis let the 5 who had finished the first quarter return to the floor, that being Wilson, senior Darrell Smith, Patton, Washington, and Taylor. After surrendering 2 baskets to the Eagles, Washington drained his first trifecta of the game from the top of the key. Then Taylor and Wilson teamed up to score an easy fast break deuce 5 minutes later. It was Wilson's 7th point of the game, Taylor's first assist. On the subsequent trip down the floor, Wilson picked a Klahowya pass out of the air and threw the ball ahead to Washington, who snapped the net for his second trifecta. 4 minutes later, the fans in the stands jumped to their feet in celebration as Taylor snagged an Eagle bounce pass and turned it into his first dunk of the season. And Washington concluded the night's second quarter scoring with a 3 from the far corner. For the period, he had scored 9 of Bremerton's 13 points. In the first half, the Eagles had outplayed the Knights, shooting and rebounding wise. But they trailed by 9, 25-16, because they had committed almost 3 times the number of turnovers, 18-7, and Bremerton had capitalized on the opportunities. As the Knights took the floor to start the second half, Washington was leading the quintet with 9 points. Wilson followed with 7. Kanye had 4, Patton 3 points, and Ward 2. Right away, Patton got the Knights rolling, with a strong slashing move through a key of retreating Eagles, followed by a reverse layup. Then Washington switched his 4th long-range shot on a well-executed baseline out-of-bounds play. With his team rolling, Wilson figured that since Patton and Taylor had made the highlight reel with a dunk, it was his turn. Moore then converted his first 3 of the game on a baseline out-of-bounds assist from Wilson. By this time in the contest, Klahowya didn't know which Knight they had to shut down, as Wilson passed up a driving key floater to dish to Patton for his 7th point of the game. That was before Washington hit an NBA range 3 for his 15th tick on the scoreboard. Followed by, you got it, another Wilson to Moore long bomb layup. But Bremerton wasn't finished yet for the quarter, as senior reserve Daryl Smith scored his first basket of the season on a strong baseline move. With the sound of the buzzer ending the third quarter, it was clearly evident the Knights were returning to full form. The 19-point period they had just completed was the best of the game, and they had held their opponent to just 8 points. Leading by 22 points headed into the fourth quarter, Coach Davis was confident that a repeat of last year's come-from-behind victory was not in this year's cards. So Smith, as well as sophomores Tucker and Trayvon Pence, got to start the period. But it was starter Kanye Taylor that got the scoreboard turning over again for the Knights with a near-side 3. Shortly thereafter, Peets recorded his first varsity point at the free throw line. Midway through the quarter, Taylor added his 9th and final point off a Wilson bomb assist. Then Moore showed his dexterity with a twisting reverse layup that put him at the line for an old-fashioned 3-point play. And he put his final points in the scorebook, 13, completing a fast break assist from Wilson. Though, Moore wasn't done trying to score points, but on this occasion it took the efforts of Patton to clean up a missed shot. But it is his defensive effort that makes Moore the team leader in steals, which Washington turned into his final basket of the game. Unfortunately for Klahowya, Bremerton wasn't through scoring yet, though not until his second stint in the quarter, Tucker recorded his first 2 points on an easy fast break layup. Then turned to Smith driving the key pass into an uncontested 3. Wilson then recorded his final points of the game by driving through the entire Eagles defense for a left side layup. And Tucker completed the Knights' 25-point quarter, their best of the season, with a 19-foot jumper. Not their best game of the season, but Bremerton did do what they needed to win their third consecutive game. They took more shots, they made more shots, they grabbed more rebounds, they assisted each other on the offensive end, and they capitalized on their 26 steals. For this contest, Washington rose to the top with a game-high 17 points, dropping a season-high 5 3-point shots. Wilson also stood out with his second double-double of the year, this one an 11-point and 13-rebound affair. Also good to see is that Coach Maya got some production off the bench. Tucker's, Smith's, and Pence's combined 10 points is the best bench scoring to date.